Well, India's most high-profile national auditor, former Controller Auditor General Vinod Rai, has given a personal clean chit to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in the 2G scam. This comes just a few days after a huge ruckus over comments he made. Rai, who was speaking to Executive Editor Javed Ansari, however, has claimed that he had been nudged by Congress MPs not to name Manmohan Singh in the scam. The former Controller Auditor General, whose damning scam revelations were seen to be the reason for the UPA's poll debacle, has said that he had absolutely no links with the BJP. Take a look at this exclusive interview.
I have with me former CAG Mr. Vinod Rai. So your book has already created ripples even before it's hit the newsstands. A lot of people have different opinions of you. Some see you as the nation's constant keeper, as a crusader. Those who have been victims of your scathing report see you as a muckraker. Where do you place yourself?
Well, I must admit one thing, that the book has been in the market for about 4 days now already, and I feel very happy when I see people airing their views about it, because these issues need to generate a debate in the public space, and these issues need to raise a debate simply for the simple reason that going forward, any government that comes to power will have to ensure that they are, number one, transparent in their decision-making process, and number two, they will be held accountable by a citizenry today which has become very, very aware and alert.
So let's come to the specifics. You've spoken about Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister. Today he's on record, he's protesting his innocence. He said, I just did my duty to the nation. Do you believe he's only, at best, he may be guilty of looking the other side, or you believe that there was criminal culpability?
Oh, certainly no criminal culpability. And I don't think he looked the other way either. See, what we have pointed out in the report, which we had pointed out in the report, and which from which I have drawn in this book, is also the fact that in the Spectrum case, the then minister was writing to him about the decisions that he was going to be taking. But the replies that the Prime Minister then sent to him were very template, kind of routine replies.
Why do you think that was happening?
That is something on which we really have no answer. We deliberated on this issue right back in 2010 itself, when we were doing the audit of it. Why is it that a letter of 26th December, which was such a critical letter, received such a routine response to it? We still haven't got to the bottom why it should have been like that. But unfortunately, that's how it happened. Now, this is an opinion which we didn't express in an audit report, because audit reports are very well structured, very well stratified. I have expressed an opinion now that when he gave a response to it on the 3rd of January 2010, if he had said that please don't take precipitate action, bring this issue to the group of ministers, possibly the issue could have been differently resolved.
So you obviously are not buying into what he said today, is it? That he did his...
No, he says he did his duty. Obviously, he saw that is the way he should have been conducting himself. That's perfectly fine. I mean, as I said right in the beginning, this is my viewpoint. And he is sitting in a very high constitutional position. He knows what is right, what is wrong. And if in his judgment that's the right thing, it's the right thing. There's a doubt about that.
Manmohan Singh was always known for his integrity, for his, Do you believe that has taken a dent, or anything that you may have learnt in your role, has it made you change your opinion of him?
No, I must say, and I say with a great deal of confidence, that his integrity, personal integrity, has never been under doubt. And I would be the last person ever to say that because I've known him for so many years, and all of us, my colleagues and I, look up to him with a great deal of respect and regard. Governance is an entirely different issue. Every person sitting in the high chair decides to conduct his government in a different way. He decided to do it the best way that he thought was his duty.
Are you surprised by the kind of reactions that your book has evoked? Mr. Sanjay Nirupam says that either you retract what you've said or he's going to drag you to court.
See, the surprising part of it is that all these reactions came into media space without reading my book. Nowhere in the book have I mentioned people? Okay, it was all that happened was in an interview I was asked who were the persons. Now, we presented the report to Parliament on the spectrum issue on 16th of November. The PAC head suo moto started examining the spectrum issue from whatever records that were available with them by themselves, not from us. It was on 30th November that we first made a presentation of our report to the PAC. At that time, the gentleman who was in the PAC was Mr. Ashwini Kumar, and he was the one who said, and he said it because by that time the Prime Minister had written, if you recall, saying that, and I think that was a very generous offer. He said that, look, if the PAC, he had written to the PAC chairman, that if the PAC so desires, I am willing to come and clarify certain issues. And what the Member of Parliament said was, let's not drag the PM into this. Now, as far as we were concerned, our report had been presented to Parliament, which means it was written in stone. No change could be made to that. And exchanges of letters between the Prime Minister and the Minister had already come on record. We couldn't have made any changes. Now, dragging the PM in terms of getting him to speak in the PAC is something on which we had absolutely no role. It is parliamentary procedure. It is the chairman PAC and the members of the PAC who had to take a call on it.
So why do you think that Congress MPs or leaders were taking a position totally different from that of the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister suo moto offered to present himself, but you've hinted that you've now named Ashwini Kumar, but there were others like Sanjay Nirupam and Sandeep Dixit who believed that no, the Prime Minister should not be.
I really don't know, because a lot of debate ensued, and Mr. Sanjay Nirupam and Mr. Sandeep Dixit joined the PAC of the next year. And in the course of 2011 also, a lot of debate went on about whether the Prime Minister should come or not, and it was towards the end of calendar 2011 that some kind of a report was prepared, and there was a lot of disarray in the preparation of that report.
So one of the three MPs, which is Sanjay Nirupam, he's dared you, and he says unless you withdraw, he's going to take you to court. Do you have proof? Would you be able to provide proof to substantiate?
See, if he decides to take me to court, obviously I've made a statement. I have to defend my statement. Now, whatever proof I have, whatever evidence I have, I will obviously place before the court or take a rap from the court if it so decides.
So the Congress has questioned you. They want to know why you didn't file an FIR if some pressure was brought upon you not to name the Prime Minister in the 2G and coal block allocations.
I would like to know where in my book have I said that people came and put pressure on me. I think it will be very squeamish of me today to say so and so, so and so, so and so put pressure. What happened, I've said in the book. Beyond that, there is no question of lodging an FIR. Pressure, if any, was coming only through the media when people were making all kinds of statements.
But nobody came to you personally? Nobody said this personally?
No, and I've not said it also that somebody came to me personally and that I've not named the person. If people had come, either I should have complained at that time itself, or I should have mentioned the name in the book.
So you're saying that nobody approached you directly?
Nobody approached me to influence me about any report that we
But were approaches made otherwise?
No, nothing. The approach which was made to me about, in the civil aviation, where I've said that people came to me to remove that word nudge, I've already put it out into public domain.
Who was the Praful Patel, the former civil aviation minister? Again, he's also threatened to sue you, to take you to court. He's dared you to name.
Now see, if he takes me to court, it's a reality I'll have to face again. And if the court directs me to name, I will have to name the people who came to either me or to my officers. I've written about it that they came to my offices, and if it becomes necessary, I'll have to produce those people as witnesses also. So absolutely, it's a fact of life, going to court.
And why don't you name them? Why don't you name them here?
Well, if I have to, because if I reveal my hand today, then what do I do when I have to go before a court?
Praful has also protested his innocence. He says that the decision to buy more planes was a considered one, debated at all levels, and it was in keeping in view the future scenario of 40 or 15 years ahead, rather than something, This was a futuristic decision.
Absolutely right. See, the only reason why we mentioned this in our report then, and I've mentioned in the book, is we must appreciate the fact that Air India is a commercially run organization. It has a board of directors, and Air India, being a commercial organization, should know what is commercially best for it, what is technically best for it, what in terms of public relations is best for it, what should be the configuration of an aircraft, and which aircraft is most suitable on route X or Y or Z. Now, Air India CMD comes to government, to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and says, I require 28 aircraft, 10 long haul, 18 short haul. The ministry, which is a non-technical body, tells him, no, please take a long-term perspective and go back and work it out and come again. He protests in that meeting. It's all in the minutes. I'm not saying it out my own. He protests in this meeting that please accept my 10 plus 18 aircraft for the time being. Then I will go and do a supplementary exercise and come back to you. And he's told, no, go back and do your exercise and come.
Told no by?
By the minister who chaired the meeting of 2nd August 2004. He goes back, discusses with his board, and he comes back in 4 months' time with a proposal wherein the long haul aircraft from 10 go up to 50 within 4 months. How can the appreciation of a commercial body like Air India undergo such a drastic change that the 500% increase in the number of aircraft for long haul? And he praises a proposal for 68 aircraft. Now, the way government functions is, when a proposal comes from a public sector organization, the concerned administrative department scrutinizes that proposal, moves it up, moves it down, depending upon it. Then, once it approves it, it espouses that cause. So, obviously, the Ministry of Civil Aviation was convinced about the requirement of 68 aircraft, because then they moved to the Finance Ministry and the Planning Commission, both of whom have given negative responses to it. And I have quoted, the Finance Ministry has said that this is a supply-driven proposal, which means you have not indicated how Air India, which has a 19% share, is going to hike up its share to 30%, number one. Number two, you have not indicated that your first proposal was $1 billion. Now it is going up to $6 billion, 38,000 crores. How will you be able to service this kind of a huge debt?
So let me ask you, do you believe this was a wrong assessment on the part of the minister, or you believe that there was more to it? Did he have an ulterior motive?
No, I will never say that he had an ulterior motive, because I don't think he had an ulterior motive. No, that will be very incorrect also. But obviously that there was huge amount of miscalculation in this entire thing, because within 5 years of purchase of those aircraft, Air India has had to sell those aircraft. So now, for a simple thing like 320 aircraft, it has been flying with Air India for the last 30 years, or maybe 25 years. Any aircraft which is bought obviously is for a term of its life. It has an engine life, it has an airframe life, and both are not less than 20-25 years.
So are you surprised or hurt by the kind of reaction that your book has evinced? Mr. Abhishek Singhvi says this has been done to help the BJP. He says these allegations are nothing, but they were primarily made by Subramaniam Swamy, which you've regurgitated.
I'm sure Dr. Subramaniam Swamy did not make these allegations before our report came. So if anything, our reports came first, and it's only the findings of the report which I put into more simple language. That's about all. So our report was in public domain much earlier. Now, if anybody says that I'm espousing a BJP cause or a CPM cause or whatever cause, well, it's his opinion, and I can do nothing about that.
So you've really been hauled over the coals ever since you made that report public. Do you at any time regret this? And we are told that you went through a very harrowing time. You've mentioned the fact that your phones were tapped. Did you at any time feel that you were being hemmed in, pressurized, your movements were under watch?
No, I didn't think that my movements were under watch, but I was very clear about one thing, that anything that we were writing will be subject to great deal of scrutiny. We knew that. And any issue that was being discussed, people we were meeting,
Your
etc.
scrutiny is fine, but the kind of personal calumny that you
See,
had.
that's what I was coming to. See, what happens is when you are making reports public of the kind that we unfortunately had to do at that point of time, we knew big people were involved. We knew large sums were involved because the figures that we were giving out. We obviously expected that there will be criticism of what we are writing. But what we had not catered for is the personal criticism. And I sincerely believe, it doesn't hurt me anymore, but I sincerely believe that those who could not counter us on merits had to resort to personal criticisms.
Any regrets?
Certainly not. I've written in my book that we don't have to feel contrite about these reports. In fact, I'm very proud of the fact that I got an opportunity to lead such a professional department with such robust procedures.
So one is always wiser in hindsight. If you were given another chance, would you just do it exactly the way you did it, or would there be any?
100% exactly the way that we have done it, because in terms of procedures, in terms of conduct, in terms of approaching Parliament, I think we have been very correct.
So a lot of congressmen have pointed out, alleged that while you've been unsparing in your criticism and your critique of the way Congress governments have functioned, there's a CAG report which has indicted the Gujarat government and several and other BJP governments. You've said precious little on that score.
Oh yeah, in fact I was quite surprised. I was asked by another channel yesterday probably about, I would only request that you look at the report that we put out against the Gujarat or about the Gujarat government about 3 years back. It was very scathing. It mentions the same very things, lots of things which the follow-up report is doing today. And I don't know why people chose not to say, shut their eyes to that report. That report is in public domain. It's on our website. In fact, some Congress leaders have quoted from the report, but only not mentioned that that is a CAG report. That's all.
Mr. Vinod Rai, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to us.
So very nice of you to have had me. Thank you.